Hi, welcome. Today we will learn the history of toothpaste. Ever wondered who invented toothpaste? Like, how do we go from scrubbing teeth with crushed rocks to squeezing mini gel from a tube? The story is actually kind of wild. Let's start.
We brush our teeth every day, sometimes twice a day, but someone, somewhere had to figure out. Hey, I don't want my breath to smell like a swamp, let's fix this. And it turns out, people have been trying to clean their teeth for thousands of years, way before the minty tubes we know today. The earliest toothpaste wasn't a paste at all, at least not like what you squeeze out of a tube. Archaeologists found that ancient Egyptians, around 5000 BC, were rubbing their teeth with powders made from things like crushed rock salt, burnt eggshells, and even ox hooves. Yeah, it sounds weird, but apparently it worked to scrape away food and plaque. And they didn't stop there. They'd mix in fragrant powders like myrrh or mint leaves to keep their breath from smelling, like a tomb. Then, if we fast forward a bit, the Greeks and Romans had their own versions. They were kind of obsessed with cleanliness and appearances. They used mixtures of charcoal, bark, and oyster shells. Fun fact: the Romans even had toothpaste that were pounded with urine. Don't freak out, it actually contains ammonia, which helps whiten teeth. I know, right? Weirdly practical, kind of gross, but shows how far people were willing to go just for a clean smile. Now here's the thing, back then, brushing wasn't really a thing yet. People mostly rubbed powders on their teeth with sticks or their fingers. Toothbrushes existed, kind of, but the real innovation was figuring out how to combine cleaning and freshening in one go. That idea stuck and slowly evolved. By the time we hit the 9th century in China, things started getting closer to modern toothpaste. They were using a paste made of ginseng, herbal mints, and salt. Not just cleaning teeth, this was about healthy gums, fresh breath, and even whitening. You can kind of see the connection to what we do today. It's wild when you think about it. What started as a handful of powders and some leaves has turned into, well, that blue or white gel in your bathroom right now. And that journey from rock salt to minty paste? That's just the start. So, moving from China and Egypt, let's talk Europe. Europe's story of toothpaste is actually pretty funny. Imagine the 18th century. People were obsessed with fancy appearances. White teeth were a status symbol, and yet, tooth decay was everywhere. Yeah, those powdered pastes were a bit crude. Some were chalky, some were soap-based, and most of them tasted awful. But hey, Europeans were creative. They loved trying weird ingredients, like powdered brick and charcoal. By the 19th century, things got interesting. A dentist in Britain and one in America were basically like, okay, we need something that actually works, not just looks fancy. That's when we see the first real toothpaste in a tube or jar. In 1824, a dentist named Peabody in the US made a paste that could be applied with a brush. It had soap and chalk, kind of basic, but it was the first time people could actually buy something packaged specifically to clean teeth. Then, in 1873, another breakthrough hit. A dentist named Dr. Washington Sheffield came up with toothpaste in a squeezable tube. That might not sound like a big deal, but imagine before that, people had to scoop paste out of jars. Kinda messy, kinda gross. The tube made brushing easy, convenient, and even a little fun. That's really when toothpaste became a daily household product, not just some weird powdered mix you used once in a while. Europeans also started adding flavors, think mint, cinnamon, even cloves. It wasn't just about cleaning anymore. It was about feeling fresh, confident, like you could talk to people without worrying about your breath. Slowly, toothpaste went from being a medical product to a personal care essential. And of course, advertising started creeping in. Brands realized, hey, if we tell people this makes your teeth whiter, healthier, and breath fresh, they'll buy it every day. That's kind of where the modern toothpaste culture began. Marketing, convenience, and science all mixed together. It's kind of crazy when you realize that what we now take for granted, popping open a tube, brushing for 2 minutes, is the result of thousands of years of trial, error, and some really weird ideas. Alright, now we're in the modern era, where toothpaste looks exactly like what you expect, smooth, minty, sometimes foamy, and comes in like a million flavors. But what really changed? Science. In the 20th century, ingredients like fluoride became a thing. Fluoride is basically a superhero for your teeth. It prevents cavities, strengthens enamel, and keeps your gums healthy. Without it, our daily brushing routine would be way less effective. Companies started making specialized toothpaste too, whitening, sensitive teeth, tartar control, you name it. Toothpaste went from just clean your teeth to almost a health ritual. And here's the thing, it also became a symbol. Clean teeth equals self-care, confidence, even status. That's why we brush in front of mirrors, post our perfect smiles on social media, and judge toothpaste brands like their life choices. But underneath all the marketing and packaging, it's still amazing to think about how far we've come. From crushed rocks and burnt shells to minty gels that fight bacteria, humans have always cared about their smiles. And it's kind of a neat reminder, even the most ordinary, everyday things have history, creativity, and a little bit of weirdness behind them. So next time you squeeze out your toothpaste, think about those ancient Egyptians, the Romans, and the 19th century dentists. You're part of a really long story of people just trying not to have gross teeth. And honestly, that's kind of beautiful.